right, welcome to another episode of the Hurricane Mike Show. I think this is episode 89, if I'm not mistaken. I have a question, right? So you know the Saints are just tanking right now, okay? Like they're straight tanking. You know that, right?
Yep.
Well, guess what? There's a team that's not tanking and they're just losing because they didn't want to call a timeout. Who's that by chance?
Would they reside in the ATL?
Yeah, and I think there's a term that sometimes is used for an insult that I think vacuums also do as well because they what?
Is that a 28-3 reference?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they suck just like a vacuum.
Yep. Man, we're going to start calling y'all the Atlanta Vacuums if y'all keep this up. Man, Dad, they were up in the division by 4 games. Them and Tampa, bruh, the Falcons, aka the Vacuums, had a 4-game lead on the division. Now they got to rely on the Saints to make the playoffs.
We ain't giving it to them.
Yeah, man. Look,
on purpose, just for that.
Look, I'm a Saints fan, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even mad that we're losing right now. There's actually a chance we can get the 8th pick. So. Let's just lose, man. I don't care about pride. I don't care about being a bad fan. I don't care. You can call me whatever you want. But if our season's going nowhere and our last game we win just to let y'all in the playoffs, man, let's put in our kicker at quarterback. Let's put Rizzy in at running back. I don't care. Do everything in your power to lose. Even though if we tried, we'd probably still lose anyway. But man, I don't care. Let's just lose, man. I don't care. I don't care about pride. I don't care about next season's our season. I don't care about making head coaches want to come here. I don't care. I don't care about tanking our draft position just to win a measly Week 18 game, man.
I got a question for you.
All right,
what did Tampa Bay do to us the first time when we was trying?
They whooped our tails. Well, I don't even think we tried that game because that game everybody was breaking every single tackle. Like, ain't nobody trying to tackle that man. I mean, they were scared of tackling. So I don't even know if we tried that game. But yeah, anyways, now let's get started on some other football teams. Kansas City Chiefs taking care of the Pittsburgh Steelers 29-10 on Christmas Day. Dad, what's your take after the game?
Congratulations, Chiefs. Welcome to the party. Chiefs offense, welcome to the party. But y'all still didn't score over 30 points. Y'all had a great offensive game and only scored 29 points. So that goes to tell me that they're not going to score over 30 points this season.
Yeah, I mean, unless Carson Wentz can do that next week, we'll shut out. Yeah, but yeah. Mahomes threw 3 touchdowns. This was probably his best game of the season. But yeah, he threw 3 touchdowns, and the Chiefs, they were able to clinch the 1 seed in the AFC, by destroying the Steelers in the 4th quarter mostly. But this was a game that both teams didn't really need to win, but it would have been helpful if both teams would have won. But the Chiefs end up winning because the Steelers, they're still trying to win their division. That's why they really wanted to win on Christmas Day. And the Chiefs just won on the NFL's holiday. Get it right, LeBron. Anyways, next up we got as y'all can see, the Chiefs are 15-1 somehow, someway, and the Steelers are 10-6. But now let's talk about 2 other teams that are somehow making the playoffs. Well, one team deserves to. The other, Baltimore Ravens, bro. Or they weren't playing around. Man, they smacked the Houston Texans 31-2. When's the last time a team scored 2 points in a game? When's the last time that happened?
I thought that was a typo, man. I thought you meant to say like 20-something. No?
No. 31-2. Like what, the Ravens are now 11-5. If they win next week, they're the AFC the AFC North champions for I think. No, it's only 2 years in a row because Cincinnati was the reigning terror before. But yeah, this would if the Ravens win next week or if Pittsburgh lose, the Ravens would clinch the AFC North for back-to-back seasons. But Texans, they somehow they actually I think clinched the playoff spot before the Baltimore Ravens did. That's how bad their division is. But yeah, 31-2. The Ravens, they're still trying to get a home playoff game. And yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory that the North in both conferences is probably the best region in the NFL right now. Anyways, so what's your take after this cruising win?
Well, I knew the Ravens were gonna beat the Texans. I didn't realize they were gonna smoke them like this, but yeah, Texans too. I don't know what they were doing on offense. I didn't watch the game, but I just could see a team that just cannot move the ball this particular game.
Yeah, I predicted the Texans to score 19 points, and I think I gave them too much credit.
Obviously.
They couldn't even get a. What'd you say?
I said obviously.
Yeah. Man, they couldn't even get a field goal, a touchdown. They had to rely on Derrick Henry getting tackled in the end zone for them to score points. But yeah, let's move away from how trash the Texans are playing, and let's talk about how good the Ravens were. Lamar Jackson breaks the NFL quarterback rushing record as he accounted for 3 touchdowns. That the MVP odds, they are kind of shaking up. So I have a question. There's 3 guys in the running. Lamar, what's his name? Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley. Who do you think is gonna pull it up?
Well, Saquon's definitely third because he's a running back. That's how the respect we give running backs these days. But I think Josh Allen is still in the lead by a little slimmer margin than it was the week before, but I still give him the nod for the overall body of work because he's dealing with a lot less than Lamar's dealing with. Lamar's got Derrick Henry in the backfield, got Flowers, got the good tight end, good weapons all around. So I still give Josh a little edge based on all that, and with 1 week to go, I don't see much changing, but we will see.
Yeah. So I was watching a show called The Facility where it's some analysts talking about football, right? So yeah, it's something called The Facility, right? I think not Marcus Spears, he's the other dude. But all I know, right, is that so one of the guys on the show narrowed it down well. He was like, MVP is not an award that goes to the best player in the NFL. It's not like the Heisman in college football where the main award goes to the best player. The main award for the NFL goes to the most valuable player. So, if you take a player off that team would be lucky to sniff 6 wins or 5 wins a freaking season, right? Lamar Jackson, even though, yes, the Ravens, they value him well. He's a great player. But before the season, right, the Bills, they trade Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis leaves, right? They lose some defensive pieces. I think they literally got rid of their whole secondary. And a lot of people thought the Bills might even finish 3rd in the East. And now look at them, man. They clinched the 2nd seed. We're going to get to the Bills game in a little bit, which kind of made me sad, I ain't going to lie. And you'll understand why in a few minutes. But the Bills they were not expected to be where they are. And you know why they're not? Why they are where they are right now? Because Josh Allen. Josh Allen's that whole team. If you take Josh Allen off the Bills might be the laughing stock of the NFL. Like how they once were before Josh Allen got there. Okay, so I think every single season since Josh Allen's rookie year, I think the Bills made it to the playoffs. So Yeah, that goes to show you how valuable this man is. But on another note, like, I mean, nobody is doing like, especially last season, right? It's funny. Look, I have nothing against Lamar. I have nothing against the Ravens. But last season, Raven fans, when Lamar won MVP, oh, stats don't matter. But now this year, stats are supposed to matter now. Why? Because Josh Allen's the favorite? You see, that's just ridiculous to me. But anyways, let's move on to probably the worst game in NFL history. As we saw on Thursday Night Football, well, probably not the worst in history, but darn close to it. Seattle Seahawks take care of whatever against the Chicago. You know what? I try refraining from calling them so their fans don't throw a hissy fit, but they deserve to be called this today. The Chicago Bears. Seahawks get a win 6-3. No one scored in the second half. The first half, we saw 3 field goals. Thursday Night Football is the most inconsistent football source I've ever seen. One game, you have teams combined for 60 points. Next game, they all kick field goals. Last week, you have teams, like 2 great teams slugging it out. This week is all field goals. Like, bruh, like, thank God Thursday Night Football is over. Anyways, so that was your take off of this. Whatever.
Well, it's a bad game to watch. I'm sure it was bad for the Bears fans, especially losing a game 6-3. You think you hold a team to 6 points, you should win that game 100 out of 100 times. But you're the Bears, and obviously this day you're the Seahawks. You couldn't do much better. Did a little bit better than those trash Bears, but here we are.
Yeah. You know, Seahawks fans, they were hyped off of this win. I mean, look, if you can get a win, obviously be happy about it. But this game, I think even Seahawks fans started crying during this game. But I will say this though, the Seahawks though, even though they got a win, they also got eliminated. So sorry, Seahawks fans, y'all were happy for nothing, I guess. But anyways, next, I mean, look, Tariq Woolen, he got a late interception to seal the win. Look, I like Woolen. I think that was Caleb Williams' first pick in a while. But I will say this though, man, the Seahawks are 9-7, but like I said, their playoff hopes are dead. And even if they win next week, and the Bears are 4-12, their playoff hopes has been over since like week set or no, that's when they started losing. Probably since like week 10.
Way back there.
Like, I mean, not really. Like the Bears, if people forgot, the Bears were like 4-2 at one point. The Bears were projected to freaking like the NFC playoffs, like were like every single wild card spot was projected to be an NFC North team. Right? The Lions were projected to win the division. Then you have Minnesota, Green Bay, and Chicago projected to be the 5, 6, 7 seeds. And then Chicago was like, let's have somebody else take our spot. And the Bears are like what? In fact, hold on, I gotta play a picture up right now. The Bears, they're literally the 14th team right now. It's crazy. But anyways, let's move on. Chargers, they clinch a playoff spot as they beat the Patriots 40-7 as they're 10-6 and they're going to the playoffs. But the Patriots are 3-13, so they're just playing for draft position at this point. That was your take.
They're playing for draft position and trying to position themselves to get a new coach because this coach they got is trash. I've been saying it all year that this team wasn't going to win too many games. They don't have a lot of talent, and now they can't stop people from scoring 40 points. So, yay for the Chargers. They'll be in the playoff. They're going to be a tough out for somebody. But the Patriots will not. They'll be watching.
Yeah, I mean their next game is against the that's not. Their next game is against the Bills. So I mean, the only way I can see the Patriots winning this game is if the Bills rest their starters, which I think is probably going to happen, unless the Bills are like, "Hey, we want Josh Allen to secure the MVP," then maybe. But I think the Bills might be resting most of their starters because they clinched 2 seeds. So that's the only way I see the Patriots winning this game.
Picture this, Mikey. Picture this.
What?
Next week, we're going to have some lousy football being played. We're going to have a whole bunch of games with teams resting their starters and the other team tanking. Aren't you can't wait to see these games.
I mean, certain games I can't wait to see. I mean, did you see the Week 18 schedule? Because it got announced.
The what?
The Week 18 schedule.
Got announced. What do you mean got announced? It's been announced.
It got you know how before the season, Week 18 was the only week that didn't have any game scheduled?
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, the games were announced, or the games were announced before the season, but the times weren't.
Oh, you mean flexes and stuff, right?
Yeah, because if they would have scheduled a 3-win team versus a 6-win team, 6-win team on Sunday Night Football, I don't think anybody would like that. Because, like, obviously before the season, you don't know who's going to be good or who's going to be bad. Like, maybe you have ideas, but everybody thought the Vikings were going to be trash.
It could be a 3-win team against a 6-win team. You know what? More people will watch that than a LeBron James game.
Sure that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I watch, like I said last time, the only time I watch basketball or any sport that over a football game is if my team's playing. Okay, for example, the Pelicans play the Clippers tonight, so obviously I'm gonna watch that game over the Monday night game. So yeah, between Detroit and San Francisco. But yeah, that's just pray for me. But anyways, let's move on. Cincinnati Bengals with one of the. This is probably the game of the week by far. Maybe I don't know, but yeah, they didn't smoke the Broncos, but they smoked them in that last few minutes, man. Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Denver Broncos 30-24 in overtime, which keeps the Bengals playoff hopes alive. In Denver, they're gonna have to fight hard for that last spot. Dad, what's your take on this one?
It was a great game. I thought Broncos were gonna pull it out. Nice 4th down call by Sean Payton and Bo Nix executing, getting that touchdown. But gave Joe Burrow a little too much time. Oh, well, that actually tied it. But in overtime, he gave the ball to Joe Burrow, and he was able to do what he had to do. And Bengals hope still alive. A little slim hope, but they have hope.
I mean, if the Bengals beat the Steelers on Saturday, and the Chiefs beat the Broncos, and the Jets beat the Dolphins, Bengals are in the playoffs. But now a lot of people, because obviously on 4th down, the Broncos, they scored the touchdown. Obviously got reviewed because that was a heck of a catch. I remember before the play was thrown or the pass was thrown, I was like, oh yeah, Bengals, they got the win. Like before the ball got, like as soon as Bo Nix was rolling out, I'm like, okay, yeah, Bengals won. But then Marvin Mims turned into Cortland Sutton. But then apparently Broncos' original idea was going for 2. But then after the review, they were like, you know what? Let's send Will Lutz out there to tie it. And then they went to overtime. So then I have a question for you. Do you think Sean Payton should have had Dan Campbell-sized balls and went for 2 to go for the win? Or do you think he should have played his cards in overtime?
Well, now that we done seen the ending, of course he should have went for 2. But I think
in the moment, would you have gone for 2? In the moment, would you have
the right thing? I think his defense was playing aight. You know, they could have took their chances in overtime. It's not like the game last week when I forgot who it was, but the team that went for 2, I think it might have been the Saints. I don't know. That I said they should go for 2 because they have no starters playing. I don't want to see this team in overtime. I don't want to see this
you mean like the Saints Commanders?
Yeah, I don't want to see this team play anymore because the other team's just going to wipe the field with them. So go for the win right now. But that wasn't the case here. Go for the extra point. Keep on playing because it's been a great game. Both teams were doing their thing, and I wanted to see a little overtime period too. So that's why I said kick the field goal. So there we go.
Yeah, well, hold on. So before I answer this question, you got to look at it from both sides, from Sean Payton on why he would or not go for 2. So why would you go for 2? Well, there's a lot of options, right? You're playing against Joe Burrow, who, if his defense had any good will in them, that they probably, he would probably be an MVP favorite, right? Yeah. What's up, Jerry? The Falcons did lose. However, I agree with you on not going for 2 if you were Denver. Because, like, if you don't get the 2, I know a lot of people are like, well, if you win, you're in the playoffs. But let's say you don't get the 2. It's not like you're playing the – it's not like – look, I understand the Bengals. They're a great team offensively. But, like, if you don't get the 2, right, then you're going to be in a win or go home situation anyway next week anyway. Because, like if you go to overtime, which they did, which I think was the right call, and if you get the ball first, you have a chance to win it right there. Like you don't want to risk it all and go for 2, and then you lose to a backup Chiefs team and miss the playoffs by that. Like you want to play your cards in overtime, which is what they did. Obviously, it didn't work out in their favor. But if Denver would have look, you see, there's something with these coaches, right? You can never win if you're the coach, right? You can never win. Because, like, if you go for 2 and don't get it, people are like, why did you go for 2 and not go to overtime? But then if you kick the extra point and you go to overtime and you lose, then they're like, why aren't you going for 2? Like, do you feel like that? Like, do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's if you go for 2 and you get it and it works out, you don't get those questions. But if you miss it, you're gonna get the questions why you didn't go for 1 instead. And, that's what comes with being a coach. That's why they get paid millions of dollars to make these calls, and they have to live with their decision.
Mm-hmm. Like, I understand they lost, but, like, I mean, the Broncos, I feel like they lost the game more in overtime than they did in regulation. Because T. Higgins, they could not guard that man. Nope. T. Higgins destroyed them. He was like, give me my money.
He's going to be a free agent. Now. Come on, Saints.
I mean, I don't know about that, but we'll see about that. But anyways, Los Angeles Rams taking care of business against the Arizona Cardinals to put them into the playoffs. Well, I don't know if this game clinched it for the Rams, but I think Sunday did. I don't know. But I know this game put the Rams in the playoffs, 13-9. And then I'm going to let you take the floor. But after that, I got some harsh words for Kyler Murray.
Well, let's go ahead and hear those harsh words because all I have to say is, Kyle at 9 points, not good enough. You better than that. I mean, I think the Cardinals going to have to be looking for a new quarterback if this dude can't step it up. First round pick ain't lived up to the hype. Come on, Cardinals. Y'all got to do something there.
All right. You see that? I don't know if you remember, but I think before we started doing the Hurricane Mike show, we would have a show on Spotify, and we did a mock draft whenever C.J. Stroud was coming out. And I said, if the Texans don't pick Stroud, Cardinals will pick C.J. Stroud.
Yep.
That is why. Because Kyler Murray, at the end of the game, you have a chance to at least spoil Rams' hopes, okay? You're at the 5-yard line. This reminded me when he did the same bull crap against Green Bay a few years ago, which ended their undefeated season. This man, Trey McBride's wide open. So all you got to do is throw it to his hands, easy touchdown. You probably win the game unless the Rams still had time, but it gives you a better chance if you score, right? This man gonna throw the ball at the dude's head. Like, are you intoxicated? Like, I understand you're short, so you think you gotta throw the ball high every single play, but good God, like, bruh, I've never even seen Bryce Young make that type of pass. And he might be shorter than you. Kyler, undersized Murray, you need to do better. Arizona paid you that contract that they shouldn't have paid you. I think it's now because you still had like 2 years on your deal, and they gave you like a 5-year extension. I think you were under contract for 7 years. That's gonna be 7 painful seasons if you're doing stuff like that. I was high on you coming out of Oklahoma, but this man throwing the ball like he was in freaking Cincinnati, not the NFL team, the college team, like he was a quarterback for Syracuse or something. It was a backup quarterback for Michigan State. This dude can't throw the ball, man. Man, just keep running the ball. Now I see why you run the ball that much. Look, I'm nothing against Kyler Murray, but you sold me, bro. Because I was about to be 6 for 6 entering Sunday. You sold me, Kyler. You sold me. You sold me, Kyler. Because I don't know if you know, but we do predictions every week. And I was about to be 6 for 6. I got every single game right, but I picked Arizona to upset the Rams, and you sold me. Idiot. But anyways, now let's get to another game that made me sad. Buffalo Bills destroy the New York Jets 40-14. Look, I have nothing against the Bills. I actually wanted them to kind of win. I don't know. But anyways, Dad, what's your take on this game?
The
Bills the
Bills,
2 now.
Bills cruising. Jets still losing. They're definitely in tank mode. I don't know if they're trying to get somebody to replace the great Aaron Rodgers for next year. I don't know, but it looks like they might be in position to do that.
Yeah. But man, if y'all were watching my stream, when I streamed the Saints Raiders game, you would have known. I was, man, when I saw the score in the Bills Jets game, I was like, please, Bills, don't let the Jets score. Because I cannot have the Saints be the only team to get shut out this whole season. And what did the Bills do in the fourth quarter? They let the Jets go. 2 touchdowns. Man, I'm not saying the Bills didn't care anymore, but that's probably why. But dang, man, you could have helped the brother out. But yeah. But man, Keon Coleman though, he might be man, this kid is a stud. Like a leaping touchdown catch in a game that the Bills played. But ironically, this was actually a weird game because the Bills started off slow. Like they were up like 12-0 at halftime. Bro, but then in the third quarter they scored 3 touchdowns. So that's how the game broke open. So yeah. Anyways. Las Vegas Raiders over the Saints 25-10. Both teams suck. Dad, what's your take?
Both teams suck. The Raiders offense pretty much had their way at times with the Saints defense. The Saints had, some more tackling woes than, like they've had this year. But Rattler played better in the I forgot what half. I think the first half. I don't know.
Yeah.
The heck with it, son. The heck with it. The heck with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was about to say. If the Saints lose next week, which I actually want them to do, I know we're playing Tampa Bay, but I actually want the Saints to lose. If the Saints lose next week and the Raiders beat the Chargers, which actually could happen if the Chargers are resting their starters because the Chargers already clinched a playoff spot. So the Chargers rest their starters and the Raiders win. And the Bears beat the Packers, which also could happen if the Packers rest their starters. If the Bears beat the Packers and the Saints lose to Tampa, because Tampa Bay is the only team trying that the Saints need to happen, then the Saints would clinch the 8th overall pick. I did this stuff earlier. So the Saints would clinch the 8th overall pick in this year's, well, technically next year's draft, but in 2 days it becomes this year's draft. But yeah, so yeah, the Saints have a chance. Yeah, the highest pick they can get is 8th, and at this point I'll take it because like the Saints, like the 8th pick, if you want, could actually be like a trade asset in case you want to trade up for somebody. But anyways, yeah. But Brock Bowers, this kid, now I understand why Saints fans wanted him, including me. Man, this man, bro, he broke second rookie record, he broke 2 rookie records yesterday, and this man caught every single pass thrown to him. It's crazy. I think he passed Amari Cooper. He had a record, and he passed Darren Waller. So, but
he broke Mike Ditka's yardage record and Puka Nakua's reception record.
Yeah, Puka Nakua as well. Yeah. But speaking of Darren Waller, let's talk about a team that he also used to play for. New York Giants done messed up their tank. New York Giants, they put up 45 points to eliminate the Colts 45-33. The Colts season comes to an end. Man, what's your take on this?
They just let the defense go home, I guess. Because, I mean, the Giants couldn't score 45 if they was playing against me and you, and we were trying. That's how bad their offense is. So the fact that they scored 45 points, they had to be playing against air. When you're playing in the backyard, son, throwing the ball back and forth to each other, and there's no defense there. Well, that's what this had to be. But yeah, so I was surprised to see this score.
Yeah, man, 45-33, which ends the Colts season. But yeah, Emmitt Smith-Marsette, though, that man has wheels. It's because he scored a 100-yard kickoff return for the Giants to. Yeah, I mean, the Giants, they had the first pick, and now they have the third pick. That was before the Browns game. They have the same record, so I wonder if the Browns have a higher pick than Giants. Now, I'm not totally sure. I mean, the Giants did beat the Browns, so I think the Browns get a higher pick than the Giants, and that's how the draft thing works. So, yeah, I think the Giants got the fourth pick now, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, man, Emmitt Smith-Marsette, man, to open the second half on a 100-yard kicker off return, man, the Giants, man. But I've never seen a fan base get so angry after a win. I ain't gonna lie. But hey, I feel it, man. Feel it. Your team's trash, so team's trash for them to lose at this point. But anyways, Philadelphia Eagles stomping the Dallas Cowgirls 41-7. And Dad, Saquon is only like 100 yards away from Eric Dickerson's record. So Dad, what's your take on this game?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
Man, Eagles smoked y'all. I don't know if they're gonna play all their starters next week, so he will get the record. I don't know. I think he'll come up a little short. And Cowboys, y'all just soon y'all with us, man. Y'all need to start rebuilding. Y'all need to get a new coach, new GM, new quarterback. I mean, yeah. Cowgirl.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
I do have a feeling the Eagles will be rusting some starters, but I feel like they're going to play Saquon, though, because they're going to try to get Saquon that record. But, yeah. The only way I can see this Eagles not playing Saquon is if Saquon wants the young guys to play. Because I have a question. Does playoff stats, does that count towards the season record?
No, it does not. And I can't see Saquon playing with a bunch of backups. You don't want to get your boy hurt right before the playoffs. So if they rest starters, I think they'll rest Saquon as well.
I mean, I feel like people are talking about him breaking the record, and I feel like we would have known if he was going to play by now. So I don't know. I think the Eagles will play Saquon, but maybe the rest of everybody else are probably just going to run the ball all game. I don't know. But the Eagles beat Dallas 41-7 to clinch the 2 seed in the NFC. Because after Minnesota won, there's no way the Eagles can get a first-round bye. So, yeah, Eagles beat the Cowboys 41-7, which, hey, at least improves their tank. But anyways, Tampa Bay Buccaneers smoked them Carolina Kitty Cats 48-14. And I'm not going to lie. I do hate the Bucs more than I hate the Panthers. But good guy, I was rooting for the Bucs to win. I ain't going to lie. Because now the Saints – so now the Buccaneers and the Falcons' future, whether that's going to the playoffs, is in the Saints' hands. Do the Saints want to try to eliminate Tampa Bay, or do they want to suck and eliminate Atlanta? That's for them to decide, and I hope they choose the only good choice. But anyways, Dad, what's your take after this cruising?
I think Tampa Bay took control of this division, and they will secure it this weekend coming up. I think, just by the Falcons losing because they suck. I mean, no matter what the Saints do, I think the Falcons are losing, so they don't have to worry about winning anything. So the Buccaneers will be your NFC South champions this year.
Yeah, for what? For the fourth straight season. Because their first division title. Because obviously the Saints, they were reigning terror, right? I'm not gonna lie. At first it was the Panthers and the Falcons. They would always go back and forth. Obviously the Saints from 2009 to 2011, maybe 2012, the Saints would always get the edge. But then the Falcons and the Panthers would go back and forth for the division. And then Drew Brees' final seasons, the Saints went on a 4 seasons in a row where they won the division. And then 2021, which was the year after Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl, but then Drew Brees retired. Then the Bucks won the division for back-to-back seasons, and then Tom Brady left. Baker Mayfield came, and now they have a chance to win the division for back-to-back seasons again. Which, if you do the math, 2+2 is fell. But anyways, the Bucks though, man, a blocked return touchdown, man, good for them. Anyways, Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans in the disqualification bowl. That's not even the tank bowl. That's the disqualification bowl. Like, you're disqualified from playing football for the rest of the season. Because, man, Mason Rudolph, bro, sacked 3 times. Man, the Titans offensive line hates this man. I guess they don't like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. But, yeah. So, Dad, what's your take on this game?
Man, two sad teams going at it. 4-win team and a 3-win team. So the Titans move up the draft board. They get a little closer to that top spot.
Yep.
So
the Titans currently hold the 2nd pick. So
I don't know if they think they have a quarterback in Will Levis or not. They probably might try to get him Travis Hunter or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know, but yeah, I do know this though. I know the Patriots beat the Bills, which is actually likely, kinda, if the Bills are resting their starters, which they're probably gonna do because they can't get the 1st seed and they can't move out of the 2nd seed, so they're probably gonna rest the starters, and maybe the Patriots beat the Bills, which is actually likelier than a lot of people thought. However, the Titans also have to lose to whoever they're playing next week, which I think is the Texans, which I don't know. I would say that that's likely because I'm sure that might be likely if the Texans are resting people or not. But anyways, yeah. So Jaguars win, Tank Bowl, yeah. Miami Dolphins keeping their season alive as they take care of business against the Cleveland Browns 20-3. Dad, what's your take on this?
Let's see. Dolphins 20-3. Oh man. So the quarterback with the 3 names, did he play?
Who? Oh, DTR.
I butchered his name last week. What's his name?
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Did he play?
Yeah, he played and he sucked.
Not very well. Only 3 points. A lot of low scores this week. I don't know. Just a lot of tanking going on. I mean,
the last 2 games, there's lots of scoring.
They've been tanking all year, really. So, Dolphins get this win. I mean, it's not too impressive. They played the Browns. Both of these teams not going to the playoffs. So,
I mean, you don't know, man. The Dolphins have a slight chance.
Slight, but they have to win next week, and they will not.
They play the Jets.
Okay, they will win next week.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, man. You got to tell me that.
Anyway. Look, it doesn't matter if Tua plays next week or not. They might actually beat the Jets. But yeah, because I know the Dolphins beat the Jets next week, and the Chiefs beat the Broncos, and the Dolphins are in the playoffs. Which, I mean, it's possible. I mean, hey, the last time the Dolphins beat the Jets to get into the playoffs, do you remember the score of that game?
No.
I remember. It was 2022, right? It was week 18, literally last week. Dolphins played the Jets, and that was, I think, a win, and you're in if the Bills beat the Patriots, because the Patriots were actually relevant back then, kind of. But anyways, the Dolphins, they beat the Jets, and the score of that game was 11-6. We might see that again.
Maybe so.
It was really 9-6, but the Jets tried doing laterals, and it ended up going for a safety on that last kickoff. But yeah, 20-3. Tyler Huntley got a 13-yard touchdown run, which, that's nice. But anyways, Minnesota Vikings taking care of the Green Bay Packers, 27-25. Packers almost got a late comeback, just fell short. The Vikings now, they play Sunday night next week against Detroit. If they win, it's funny. Whoever loses the Vikings-Lions game, the winner gets the 1 seed, the loser gets the 5 seed. Ain't that ridiculous?
That is, but it is what they signed up for.
But Dad, look, I don't know if you're hearing me. We're about to have a 14-win team because the Lions are going to win tonight. So we're going to have a 14-win team in the wild card round on the road next week. The week after next week. Ain't that wild?
Nah, it's happened before. I mean, the whole divisional structure of the playoffs. I mean, that happens sometimes when you have a really good division like the NFC North is. One of those teams are going to be out. When I say out, they're going to be playing in the first round with a good record at home against a real sorry team, but they have to do what they have to do.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that was your take after this 27-25 victory by Minnesota.
It was a good game. I was sitting in a restaurant actually watching the game on the TV, it was going back and forth, and the Vikings, boy, they one of the surprise teams of the year. I mean, McCarthy might not have a job when he gets back. JJ McCarthy, he was supposed to have that job this year, but I don't know.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Mike McCarthy for a second.
That's why I cleared it up. I'm like, JJ McCarthy was supposed to be the guy this year on the center, but he went out with a little injury. Yeah. The boy took over, and 14-2 now.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of people I'm not gonna lie. If you're the Vikings, now you're in a tricky situation. If you're the Vikings, because Sam Darnold, right, is playing out of his mind. However, you drafted J.J. McCarthy in the first round, where it's kind of tough. You drafted J.J. McCarthy in the first round. He doesn't play because he's injured. You drafted him to be our future, but right now Sam Darnold has the Vikings in Super Bowl conversations. So it's like someone's getting their heart broken. Either they're going to stick with Sam Darnold and they sign him to a long-term deal, or they give it to J.J. McCarthy. I'm going to say this, though, right now. If J.J. McCarthy started this season, the Vikings would not be 14-2, okay? So I'm just saying that right now. So I think they might have to give it to Darnold. But, yeah, man, Jordan Addison, did you see the play where he laid out for that beautiful touchdown?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I saw that, and I'm like, bro, this man, for the Vikings, literally, and I'm not over exaggerating when I say this, they have the best receiver duo in the NFL right now. Okay, I understand you got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, but bruh, until both of them can get a 130-yard game in the same game, I don't want to hear it. But yeah, anyways, but now let's. Man, don't this just look nice? Man, Commanders sealing a playoff win, and it was against the Atlanta Falcons. Man, Jayden Daniels passed to Zach Ertz for the playoffs. But, Dad, I have a question, right? What do you think Raheem Morris is going to do with the timeouts later that he didn't use? Do you think he's going to sell them for some movie tickets or whatever?
Yeah, he went home with him last night. He laid in bed with him and stroked him, just petted him on the head. Yeah, he likes timeouts, so he's good. He's good.
Yeah, but did you see Michael Penix though? Where you go? What's going on? What just happened? Okay. I don't know what's going on right now. Doesn't look like we have anybody watching from what StreamYard's telling me. Okay, I guess I'll just take the floor. Man, Michael Penix Jr. Okay, no, he's gone right now. He's probably gonna come back out and come back in. I don't know what happened there. But Michael Penix Jr., I'm gonna say this right now. That man is some bad quarterback. That dude is a bad quarterback. Like, you can't get any worse than Michael Penix Jr. right now. Can't. All right, Michael Penix Jr. That man was dropping snaps. That man was overthrowing people. Okay, it looks like he's back. All right, you back?
I'm back. Your sister called and knocked me off.
Oh, wait, which one?
Savannah.
Oh, okay. Well, but Dad, did you see Michael Penix Jr. last night?
I tell you the truth, I just saw the very end of the game, like the play right before he scored the touchdown on the 4th down play. That's the only play I saw, really.
But that man, not only was he fumbling snaps out there, like there was one player in the center literally just threw the ball behind Penix, which ironically was on their last drive that he scored a touchdown on. But this man was overthrowing people like he was a freaking, like he was just overthrowing people like he was at the arcade and you play the basketball game or whatever and you just missed terribly. Like this man is literally the Ben Simmons of football, bro.
You couldn't make a free throw?
He couldn't, man. Like he had like 2 free touchdowns that he missed. And you got Falcon fans saying, well, I'd rather him overthrow than underthrow. I mean, yeah, I would probably rather that too, but that still ain't good if you have to choose one. Like, so that was your take after the Falcons got eliminated last night. And before you're like, oh, they still got a chance. No, they don't. They got to rely on us for crying out loud. So what's your take after they got booted?
They don't have a chance. And Commanders, they going into the playoff. The Falcons are not. So it's always a happy day when we can say that.
Yep. They're 8-8, man. This is gonna be 8 straight years that they ain't in the playoffs. Like, bro, they blew another lead, Dad. Did you see that?
Yeah, they sure did. It looked like they was gonna take control. I was looking at my phone. I was like 14-0 or 14-7. I'm like, oh man, what's going on here? The Falcons might win one, but nope, they didn't.
But yeah, the Falcons were up by 10 points going into halftime. 10 of them things. And then Jayden Daniels did what he's done all season. Jayden Daniels got that clutching, but I'm not going to lie. Zacchaeus, he might be a double agent because he used to play for the Falcons. That man made me mad, bro. It was like 3rd down, and I was actually rooting for the Commanders to get a field goal because I don't know if you remember, I predicted the score 27-24. And
yeah.
But yeah.
Close.
But that was crazy, man. That was a crazy game to watch, even as a Falcon hater. But now, before we exit out, we got to talk about the playoffs right now. We haven't done this for like a week, I feel, because, last show we weren't able to do it. So, that do you want to start on the AFC or the NFC?
AFC.
All right, AFC. The Kansas City Chiefs, they already locked up the 1 seed with a 15-1 record. The Bills currently stand at number 2 with a 13-3 record. They ain't going nowhere. The Ravens are currently the 3rd seed at 11-5. However, so if the Ravens beat the Browns next week, which is highly likely, they will finish 12-5 and win the division. But if somehow the Browns upset Baltimore and the Steelers beat the Bengals, Ravens are going to, then the Steelers are going to win the division. Currently, the 4 seed will be the Houston Texans no matter what. They're 9-7. They locked up that 4 seed. The Pittsburgh Steelers, like I said, are currently the 5th seed in the AFC with a 10-6 record. But like I said, if they beat Cincinnati and the Ravens lose to the Browns, Steelers are the division champs, and the Chargers hold the 6th seed with a 10-6 record. So if the Chargers beat the Chargers beat the Raiders and the Bengals beat the Steelers, and the Chargers will be the 5th seed, and Pittsburgh will be the 6th seed. Because even if the Broncos win, they won't be able to surpass Pittsburgh because Steelers already beat Denver, and so did the Chargers anyway. But yeah, the 7th seed is currently the Denver Broncos with the 9-7 record. However, there's 2 teams that are fighting for that 7th seed with Denver. You got the Miami Dolphins at 8-8, and the Cincinnati Bengals at 8-8. If the Dolphins beat the Jets and the Chiefs beat the Broncos, Dolphins are in the playoffs. However, if the Chiefs beat the Broncos and the Jets beat the Dolphins and the Bengals beat the Steelers, Bengals are in the playoffs. Or if the Broncos beat the Chiefs, Broncos are in the playoffs. Which I feel like it's more likely that the Broncos beat the Chiefs, but hey, crazier things have happened. I have to remember when the Bills played their backups 1 year against Miami to kick them out the playoffs. And everybody else is eliminated. The Indianapolis Colts, they're 7-9. They're out. The New York Jets are 4-12. Las Vegas Raiders 4-12. Jacksonville Jaguars 4-12. Cleveland Browns 3-13, Tennessee Titans 3-13, New England Patriots 3-13. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 7 of those teams, their season's already over. Yep, the Colts were the recent team to get eliminated after their loss to the Giants. Now let's move on to the NFC, where currently the 1 seed is the Minnesota Vikings at 14-2. Well, hold on, you know what? Before we go there, I'm just going to say the playoff probability for all 3 of the AC teams. Broncos currently have an 83% chance. Dolphins have an 11% chance, and the Bengals have a 6% chance. All right, back to this. Now, the NFC, right? The 1 seed is currently the Vikings at 14-2, but that's only because the Lions have yet to play. So that's why they are only the 1 seed, or they're currently the 1 seed. However, if the Lions beat the 49ers tonight, the Lions jump up to number 1 for now. And then next week, they'll battle it out. The Eagles, 13-3. After the Vikings beat the Packers, the Eagles locked up the 2 seed in the NFC. The Rams currently hold the 3 seed at 10-6. They locked up the NFC West, and I don't think they locked up the 3 seed yet. I don't know. It depends on if it depends on if Tampa Bay wins and Rams lose. I think the Bucks can get the 3 seed that way. Maybe. I don't know, because I don't think they've played the season. They might have. I don't know. But anyways. But yeah, the 4 seed is currently the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a 9-7 record. They currently have a 90% chance to make it in the playoffs. So if the Bucks beat the Saints, they're in the playoffs. Or even if they somehow lose to the Saints, if the Panthers beat the Falcons, the Bucks are in the playoffs. All right, the 5 seed is currently the Detroit Lions at 13-2. Like I said, that will change if they are able to win tonight. And then if they beat the Vikings next week, then they're the 1 seed. And the 6 seed is the Washington Commanders at 11-5. So yeah, they're either going to be the 6 or the 7 seed. If the Packers, who currently are the 7 seed at 11-5, if the Packers beat the Commanders, if the Packers beat the Bears next week, and the Commanders lose to the Cowboys, and the Packers will be the 6th seed. But if that doesn't happen, then, that's it. However, there's only 1 team that still has a chance to make the playoffs, and that's the 9 seed Atlanta Falcons. But they have a 10% chance to make it in after their loss to Washington. So yeah, that's basically it for them. They're 8-8. They're probably not making it. But yeah, now these are all the teams that are out. The 8th seed is the Seattle Seahawks at 9-7. They got eliminated after the Commanders win over the Falcons, because now the Commanders, they have a 2-game lead over Seattle, and the Rams do own a tiebreaker over Seattle, even if the Seahawks are to beat the Rams next week. The 10 seed Dallas Cowgirls are 7-9. 11 seed Arizona Cardinals 7-9. 12 seed San Francisco 49ers. They're either going to be 7-9 or 6-10 or 6-9-1 if they end up tying. 13 seed is the New Orleans Saints at 5-11. 14 seed Chicago Bears 4-12. 15 seed Carolina Panthers 4-12, and the 16 seed is the New York Giants at 3-13. So, Dad, do you have any takes on? Do you think anything's going to change?
Nope, especially in the NFC. I think the 7 teams are set already. Falcons can only dream.
Yeah.
Just need to see how that jockeying's going to go with the Vikings and Detroit. Is the only thing to watch there. And in the AFC, it looks like it's more likely that Denver gets that last spot than the other 2 teams. So there's not too much to see there either.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, though. I do want the Commanders to – I'm not going to lie. I kind of want Dallas to beat Washington next week, and I want Green Bay to – I don't know. I won't be mad if Green Bay beats Chicago, though, which I'll probably be rooting for Chicago. But I just really want to see the Commanders play the Eagles in the playoffs. That would just be an insane matchup. Yeah, because it's weird. Because a lot of people hate the 7-seed rules, but the last couple of years, I mean, this is the best chance to see a 7 seed in the freaking championship. I'm not going to lie. And championships, because, like you said, your Super Bowl pick during the season was Denver, and if they get the 7 seed, bro, if the Bengals get the 7 seed, they might be the first 7 seed to probably win the Super Bowl. I ain't gonna lie. If they can fix that defense, that might happen. Because their defense been stepping it up the last few weeks. I ain't gonna cap. And the Packers, man, bro, they have 11 wins already, and they're the 7 seed, and they're the only team so far that got the 7 seed before to win a playoff game. So, man, look. This has probably been the tightest race in NFL playoff history. I ain't gonna lie. When it comes to teams like this, because like I remember back in 2022, you had an 8-win team make the playoffs, but now an 11-win team is the last spot in playoffs, and I like that. Like, because like back like the last 2-3 years, it was always teams that were trash making it into the playoffs. Like playoffs, I'm not gonna lie, the last couple years the playoffs have been boring. But now I'm kind of excited for these playoffs. Like, I've never been more excited for playoffs since probably maybe the 2021 playoffs. That was probably the last time. You know, when you had the Bengals, the Rams, the Bucks, even them. Yeah, that was crazy. But anyways, Dad, you got anything else?
Nope. Just ready for this Monday Night Football game tonight. Should be a good one.
Yeah. But all right. So Dad, where can they find you?
On the Warren Newbie YouTube channel, on the Hurricane Mike Show every week. That's about it.
Yep. You can always find me here at Hurricane Mike. And also check out Kyle Phelps next Monday night. Me and him, we're starting a new YouTube series. So just be on the lookout for that. But don't worry, we'll still be able to do the show too. I won't neglect y'all, all right? But anyways, yeah, you can always like, subscribe, share, turn the bell on, turn on miss another upload. Who that? But don't be a what then, especially this week.
Don't be a Falcon fan. Not going
Don't be
nowhere.
them fans. Yeah, don't be them fans, man. They finna be 9-8, and they're gonna cry after we win or we lose. But technically, we're gonna win, but we're gonna lose too.